So based on all that, we know that the Hobbits wouldn't have technologies that would allow for temperature control during fermentation or conditioning, or the ability to prohibit wild and ambient yeasts from interacting with the fermenting wort. In fact, yeast would be the defining characteristic of these ales. Most likely, the process of making wort and chilling it would be done in open containers, allowing the brew to pick up ambient yeasts from the brewery, imparting distinctive flavors unique to that environment. Even if the Hobbits used cultivated or otherwise intentionally maintained yeasts to start fermentation, the ambient yeasts would contribute heavily to the resulting ale's flavor. The most abundant vessel of choice available to them was probably oak casks, which would bring their own set of yeasts from the wood, while simultaneously allowing the beers to condition and age for an extended time. See our previous video on super old Hobbit wine from old vineyards. For more on that, link in the description. These beers would be hazy in appearance, as filtration would most likely not be within the Hobbit's technological means, and they'd be marked with distinctive spicy notes from the wild yeasts accrued, as well as any hops or actual spices the Hobbits might choose to incorporate, which again would probably include mugwort, spearmint, gillyflower, and angelica, according to Flora of Middle-earth. They might either be using an open flame to boil the mash in the kettle, resulting in more caramelized flavors, or they might be heating stones and placing them into casks filled with the mash and water in order to bring it up to temperature. Most likely their ABV would range from 4 to 6% and be marked with a fair amount of effervescence as CO2 builds up in the sealed casks during conditioning. Everything we've covered so far would produce beers in the family we generally refer to as saisons or farmhouse ales, and also wild or rustic ales. Now, some great beers in this family to try at home include Saison du Pont, Ommegang Honnepin, Boulevard Brewing Tank 7 American Saison, and the Brewery Field Horse Saison. That said, since this is such a broad category of ale, there's a few other real-world variations of sour ales we could see based on the myriad of choices the Hobbits could be making. So follow along as I break down some other variations in this style.